1st February 1959, 9 ski hikers went on a camping and never returned. They set up camp on a slope, enjoyed dinner and prepared for sleep. Then what happened that they never returned to their families? In the winter of 1959, a group of 10 students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute embarked on a challenging expedition to the snowy wilderness of the northern Ural Mountains in Soviet Russia. The group, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, was no ordinary gathering of adventurers. Each member was a seasoned skier, well-versed in both cross-country and downhill techniques, and accustomed to the harsh conditions of the region. Their destination was Gora Otorten, a remote peak whose name ominously translates to "don't go there" in the language of the local Mansi people. The route they planned to traverse was classified as Category 3, the most difficult and perilous level of trekking, demanding exceptional skill and endurance. With temperatures expected to plummet to a bone-chilling -30 degrees Celsius, -22 degrees Fahrenheit, the journey was as daunting as it was dangerous. Yet the group was undeterred, driven by a shared love for adventure and a desire to achieve a significant accomplishment in the world of mountaineering. The expedition commenced on January 27th, 1959. Spirits were high, and the group carefully documented their progress through diaries and photographs, capturing moments of camaraderie and determination. However, the very next day brought an unexpected turn of events. Yuri Yudin, one of the 10 adventurers, began experiencing health issues. Suffering from joint pain and other ailments, he made the difficult decision to turn back, knowing that continuing could jeopardize the entire group's mission. Yudin's departure was bittersweet. As he bid farewell to his friends, none could have imagined that he would be the last person to see them alive. For the remaining 9 members, the journey continued, marked by snow-covered landscapes and the relentless challenges of the unforgiving terrain. What unfolded next remains one of the most perplexing mysteries of the 20th century. Weeks later, when the group failed to return as scheduled, a search party was dispatched. What they discovered defied explanation: an abandoned campsite, evidence of a frantic escape, and the lifeless bodies of the young adventurers scattered in circumstances that have baffled investigators and intrigued researchers for decades. The story of the Dyatlov Pass incident is not just a tale of adventure, but a haunting reminder of nature's power, human resilience, and the enduring enigma of what transpired in those frozen peaks. In February 1959, concern grew for a group of hikers who had not returned to the town of Vijay as expected. A rescue team was sent to search for them, and on February 26th, they made a chilling discovery on Kolatsyakhl, a mountain known ominously as Death Mountain. The team found the hiker's tent, but it was damaged and abandoned. Shockingly, the tent had been cut open from the inside, as if the group had fled in terror. Inside, their belongings, clothes, shoes, food, and journals, were left neatly in place, untouched by chaos. Yet there was no sign of the hikers themselves. Footprints in the snow led away from the tent, heading toward a nearby forest about a kilometer away. The tracks suggested the hikers had walked calmly, not run, but they were ill-prepared for the freezing conditions. Following the trail, the rescue team discovered the first bodies near the edge of the forest. The scene raised more questions than answers. Why had the hikers, all experienced and skilled, left the safety of their tent in such a state? What had compelled them to face the deadly cold without proper clothing or gear? The discovery on Death Mountain marked the start of an enduring mystery that continues to baffle investigators and captivate people around the world. Near an old cedar tree at the edge of the forest, searchers made a chilling discovery. 2 bodies lying in the snow, dressed only in socks and underwear. Evidence suggested they had tried to light a fire for warmth, but their efforts were in vain. The cedar tree's lower branches were broken, as if one or both had climbed up, perhaps in a desperate attempt to spot the tent or escape something unseen. As the search continued, 3 more bodies were found scattered between the tree and the tent, including the group's leader, Igor Dyatlov. Their positions suggested they had been trying to return to the tent, but succumbed to the extreme cold. Hypothermia was determined to be the likely cause of death for these individuals. The mystery deepened 2 months later when the remaining 4 hikers were discovered. Their bodies were buried under 4 meters of snow in a nearby ravine. Unlike the others, these hikers displayed severe and unusual injuries. One had a fractured skull, while 2 others had broken ribs and severe chest trauma. These injuries were described as being similar to those caused by a car crash. Strangely, there were no external wounds to explain the force that caused such damage. Adding to the mystery, some of the bodies showed signs of unusual conditions. One had missing eyes, and another's tongue was absent. Traces of radiation were also reportedly found on some of their clothing. These details, combined with the mysterious circumstances of their deaths, sparked wild speculation. Some questions still remain. What forced them to flee the tent in such a hurry? Why were 2 of them dressed only in socks and underwear? Could the severe injuries point to something more than natural causes? Why were the bodies scattered in such unusual locations? Was it an avalanche, or is there another explanation? The Soviet authorities investigated the Dyatlov Pass incident, but closed the case after 3 months, citing a compelling natural force as the cause. With no survivors, the events of February 1st and 2nd remain unclear, sparking theories ranging from avalanches to military experiments. Gaume, intrigued by the mystery, began investigating. After a call from a New York Times reporter, I started writing equations on my blackboard to understand what happened, he says. When she called back, I told her it was likely an avalanche caught the group by surprise as they slept. This theory, supported by a 2019 investigation by the Russian Public Prosecutor's Office, remains the most plausible, though unanswered questions fuel ongoing debate. Gaume, working with Professor Alexander Puzrin, analyzed archives and developed models to reconstruct the possible avalanche that claimed 9 lives. The Dyatlov Pass mystery has become a legend in Russian folklore. When I told my wife that I was going to work on it, she looked at me with deep respect, says Puzrin. I was quite keen to do it, especially because I had started working on slab avalanches 2 years earlier. My primary research is in the field of landslides. I study what happens when a certain amount of time elapses between when a landslide is triggered and when it actually occurs. According to researchers Gaume and Puzrin, here's what they think happened in 1959. The hikers cut into the mountain's snow-covered slope to set up their tent, but the avalanche didn't happen right away. Instead, it occurred several hours later. One of the main reasons why the avalanche theory is still not fully accepted is that the authorities have not provided an explanation of how it happened, says Gaume. There are questions that challenge this theory. The rescue team didn't find clear signs of an avalanche at the site. The slope above the tent was less than 30 degrees, not steep enough for a typical avalanche. If there was an avalanche, it happened at least 9 hours after the hikers cut into the slope. Some victims had chest and skull injuries not typical of avalanche cases. In their study, published in Communications, Earth and Environment, Gaume and Puzrin aim to address these mysteries. So, in the end, we still don't know exactly what happened that fateful night. Was it a mysterious alien encounter? Could it have been an attack by the elusive Yeti? Or was it just nature's unpredictable wrath? A deadly avalanche triggered by sheer bad luck? The truth remains hidden in the frozen wilderness of the Dyatlov Pass. The question lingers, haunting us through time. What really killed those 9 hikers?